a very inexpensive way to try out some premium pencils from Musgrave. Hello everyone. If you have ordered from Musgrave Pencils out of Tennessee or visited their site, you may have seen products labeled as factory seconds. And here it says, oops, slightly imperfect pencils. And these we're looking at today are the Tennessee Red Cedar, which is probably the most premium pencil or pencils that Musgrave makes. But here we have factory seconds, ones that were set aside because they didn't meet the exacting specifications of Musgrave. We're going to take a look at those and see what you get when you order these as factory seconds. I have tried Tennessee Red Cedar, the genuine cedar, and the round cedar pencils, and they are superb. Some of the best pencils I have ever tried. So I'm curious what the factory seconds will be like. So when you order them this way, rather than getting 12 of the hex or 12 of the round, you get 6 of each, which is great if you want to try that in different formats. Just look at the visible grain on each of those. I love that about cedar pencils, and these are red cedar, which you don't see pencils made of that anymore because it's, or at least not often, it's more difficult to come by. Incense cedar is way more common now, which ironically doesn't smell as good as red cedar, in my opinion. So what can we say about the quality here? There may be some that are less well-centered than others. I feel like this one I'm pointing at maybe is not quite centered perfectly. There's variations in the color of the wood, which is normal with genuine cedar. Let's look at all of them so that maybe we'll see if there are visible errors. I'm going to pull all the hex ones out first. Do I have them all? Apparently I do. Okay, we'll look at the round in a second. Okay. So looking at the hex pencils, I don't see any glaring issues in the print, the imprint on them. Some of them are harder to read than others simply because the wood that it's imprinted on is darker. All these differences in appearance are just accounted for by the differences in the wood grain. I noticed one of them had a knot in it. They may call that an imperfection, but I think that looks fantastic. I happen to love that. Yeah, that's not a negative to me. I don't see any errors in the ferrule attachment. These are all crimped on. Ferrules all look fine. Erasers all look fine. Again, just the imperfections in the wood, I would say that's not a negative to me in a pencil like this, using reclaimed slats of wood, which I think is where they're getting the red cedar for these. Wood that have been set aside for a long time or reclaimed from barns or fence posts or some such. Let's look at the round ones. Also, don't see any glaring errors in the print. All legible. I feel like one of them might be slightly... Yeah, I think maybe this top one is a little bit warped. So there's some warping there. Not unusual when you're using old wood, which I believe they are. Ferrules all look fine and nicely attached. Yeah, no obvious deformities or blemishes. I think mainly it's just knots in the wood, maybe a little bit of warping. These are very nice. If you wanted to try genuine cedar pencils from Musgrave, which again I think may be the finest pencil they make and maybe the finest pencil made today in the US, in my humble opinion, this isn't a bad way to do it. You save a lot of money. It's, there's a premium price tag on these pencils when you get them in in the standard packaging that isn't a factory second. So this is a great way to try them out without investing too much in it. So just sharpen one of each, try them out. I think I've reviewed both of these before. I feel like I want to sharpen one of the boring ones because the ones with the knots are just so visually pleasing to me. Maybe that's weird, but kind of want to hang on to those. We'll sharpen one of each. I think they're using exactly the same core in the hex and the round. Let's get something to catch our shavings. I want to use a handheld because I want to see what that red cedar looks like. Did I go a little too far? Maybe I did. Very distinctive smell of cedar. Fantastic. Love it. Let's get this out of the way. I made something of a mess there, didn't I? Just for fun, let's compare it with a non-cedar pencil from Musgrave. These are bare wood. No stain or shellac or anything on it, but also not made of cedar. I don't believe. They don't smell like cedar, and the coloring isn't exactly right, but I do like the wood grain on these. These they sell by the half gross, I think. Don't even have a name for them, just number 2 wood pencils. Okay, let's try. I think those are the names they give to them in their product catalog. Genuine round cedar and genuine red cedar. It's the hex. The very pronounced Musgrave hex is evident when you hold that. Just comparing the two, I think I prefer the sharp corners of the hex, personally. They don't give a grade on these, but I love the fonts used here. Yeah, ungraded. So I don't know if those are supposed to be a number 2 or a B or what. But when you compare it with the number 2 of the unnamed Musgrave, it's definitely a darker tone in the graphite and extremely smooth. Just fantastic pencils. Again, maybe I would say likely the best pencil currently made in the U.S. Tennessee Genuine Red and Genuine Tennessee Red. Sorry, I guess I could just look at the pencil and see what they call it. I don't know why it took me this long to figure that out. Genuine Tennessee Round and Genuine Tennessee Red. Fantastic pencils. If you haven't tried them, do so. And if you don't want to spend the premium price tag, get them as factory seconds, because these are still very, very nice pencils. Maybe another stocking stuffer idea for someone who is a pencil enthusiast, a pencil enjoyer. Thanks for watching this review of the Musgrave Factory Seconds Tennessee Round and Tennessee Red. Hope to see you here again next time.